What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and it's the 25th anniversary of a Spike Lee joint. This is Summer of Sam. And to celebrate its 25th anniversary, I've decided to watch this film for the first time. I've never seen this film before. Noticed it was celebrating its 25th anniversary. This review is pretty much close to day and date. 25th anniversary for Summer of Sam. It was released in July 1999, and here it is. Let's talk about it. As I said, it's directed by Spike Lee. That's what Spike Lee joint means. People generally know that by now. He also has writing credit on here, and it stars John Leguizamo, Adrian Brody, Mira Sorvino. It's honestly, its cast is pretty expansive. It's got BB Newirth, Michael Imperioli, Ben Gazzara, John Turturro, of course, right? John Turturro's in this. It's a bunch of people just kind of like pop up. Jennifer Esposito. I'm trying to think of other people that deserve name recognition in this. That's all I can remember. Anyway, a lot of people in the cast. And what it is it captures the summer of 1977 when Summer of Sam was going around one of the boroughs in New York, killing people, and just, the panic, people not knowing who Summer of Sam was and thinking maybe it's their friend, maybe it's this guy, maybe it's that weirdo over there, maybe it's the guy with the shifty eyes. Could be, maybe it's my best friend. I don't know. It could be anybody. And really kind of tapping into the paranoia of it while also trying to cap into the 70s culture, late 70s culture. I wasn't like thrilled with LGBT representation in this. There's a character that basically gets, is sort of like unabashedly, openly gay and gets a lot of shit for it. And couldn't make me that excited about it. Yes, I know it's the late 70s, so I'm not going to say this is an authentic representation of probably what would have happened to that person during the late 70s, but it doesn't make me thrilled to have that. It is a supporting... No one is really a lead here. It's really hard to say who is a lead. Even when you look at John Leguizamo, who I think has top billing, it's not necessarily that he's a lead so much as he does have ample screen time in this ensemble cast. But this ensemble cast does bounce around between a lot of different people. It's balancing a lot of ideas, a lot of stories. And it does keep cutting to Summer of Sam and in little fleeting images of what he's doing and killing people. Don't worry, he doesn't like chop their faces off. If anybody remembers, he just basically shoots people and they just find these people dead. It's just like without rhyme or reason behind it. And he leaves these notes, behind it. It was me. I'm the son of Sam. So it's okay. The problem is that I've seen films like this, and I've just seen films that I thought were better. And I've also seen other Spike Lee movies that I think are better. Like, I think this is an okay Spike Lee movie. Spike Lee has some other films on his resume that I'm not really a fan of, but this is okay. He has films that I like more than this. There's films that I would love to go to bat for any time of the day. And then he has this, and then he has like maybe like one or two films I'm just like, did you need to make... Like, I think Girl 6 is his. Did you need to make Girl 6? But this is an interesting exploration into the time period, into this Italian-American neighborhood. And what's really interesting is, and specific, and this is all historical, so I don't really know if any of it is spoilers, but when Son of Sam does step out of the Bronx, which is where I think he is, into Brooklyn, and then like everybody just like, oh my god, we just thought it was this one, he was just killing only people in the Bronx. It's funny how the panic is set just to such this one like area. It's funny how you could be like in other boroughs and be like, we're good, we're in Manhattan. I didn't even think about that. I just think about like New York City, and I live in a kind of a major metro area, and it's like I'm trying to like picture if there was like a serial killer, but they were only killing in one part of town, would I just feel safe because I don't live in that part of town? Or would I be like, I don't know, it's a little close to home. It's a little too close for me. What happens when he runs out of people or, you know, decides to branch out from, I don't know. I wouldn't feel, but they do seem quite shocked when that happens. The Brooklyn people are like, oh, he wouldn't dare come here, come at me, bust cap. So, um, it's an interesting film. It's a little longer than it probably should be. But then again, when I look at films, when I go comparatively, why do I not like this film as much? I look at something like Zodiac with David Fincher, which explores sort of that phenomenon. And I just think that's a better made film. And it's also long. So I don't know if I can fault runtime here. And it does have really a broad cast that you're following. It just feels like it's a lot of conversations and we're exploring a lot of things about these people that we don't necessarily need to be exploring. Just a little too deep into characters. I guess he's trying to pull in a lot of that 70s vibe and things that happened during the 70s and, talking about like porn and stuff like that and how that fits into the film. And the thing is that there's a killer walking around and you could ratchet up the tension. I felt tension in one scene. There's one scene where like the horror movie person in me felt like, like when somebody's like giving a speech and you're like, don't give that speech. Come on now, man. Of course he's like all of a sudden like a bullet's gonna fly out and just hit him, Like I was feeling that, There's one of those scenes in this where the tension was there, because I've seen too many scary movies. But Spike Lee doesn't direct this like it's a scary movie, and maybe there could have been a little bit more of that. He's really trying to ride high on paranoia, but he's also riding high on 70s nostalgia. And those two things kind of clash at times because we get too lost in the 70s and he can't keep the paranoia going for the entire film, which is what really should be happening. That's when the film excels. The 70s is always there. The cast is just in 1977 no matter what. Like that, you can't help it. But to keep trying to give reference to time and place and things and of the period, when they're not directly related to the panic of Summer of Sam, just kind of like, I feel like this film, if it was shorter and cut out some of that extra stuff and kept its tension going, would have worked as a really interesting thriller, a look at trust. Do you trust your neighbors? Do you trust your friends? When something's happening around you and you don't know who it is, but it's not you, who can you trust? I think that's an exploration, and I think there's part of that here, but it's not fully here. And that's maybe where Spike Lee stumbled a little bit. I think most people agree because this film doesn't necessarily have the highest critic scores, but also doesn't have low critic scores. So most people agree this film is good, just not great. So, interesting. So 25 years, Summer of Sam. I finally watched it. It's like, the audio description here is William Michael Redmond. It's on Paramount Plus with audio description in case you're wondering, like, where did he see this? I love William Michael Redmond, and I think it's interesting that a film from 1999 has audio description. But I think about a film about Italian Americans, and then I hear William Michael Redmond's voice. And William Michael Redmond is great for the film that I wanted this to be. He's not the right choice for the film that this is. I feel like there's a different choice for somebody who can just kind of kick back and lay back in the 70s mold. Redden almost suggests that this is scarier than it's going to be, or more thrilling than it is going to be, because he usually does scary and thrilling slash action type films. This film has too many beats that pull it down from that. So he kind of is not the best choice for this, which is hard for me to say because I feel like he's the best choice for like everything except, when he's not in like a kid's film or maybe this romantic comedies, I wouldn't give him those. So it's, yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I get really used to hearing certain voices. And I'm like, I really love this voice, but at the same time, I'm like, is this the right voice? Is this the choice I would have made? And I think one of the things that the description companies need to think about is casting. There are a lot of narrators out there, and a lot of people try to break into narration. And if you have to search to find the right voice to fit the film, what you're doing is you're complimenting the film. You are, at the end of the day, great audio description can enhance the film. You need a great writer. And often the great writers are unsung. Like, I don't know who wrote this. I actually don't even know the company because I got knocked out of Paramount Plus. I just recognize William Michael Redmond's voice no matter what. And like, I didn't need credits for that. As soon as he spoke, I was like, yep, I know who the narrator is. But you have to take some, you have to think of kind of like, what is the project? What is it that we're trying to do here? What's interesting here is that normally for a Spike Lee movie, I would suggest that it should be a black narrator. Most of his films are predominantly black casts. This is not that. This is a predominantly Italian-American cast. If not like slightly Latino, John Leguizamo, but who's, I think, Italian, Spanish, or whatever. Anyway, I think Jennifer Esposito is too. But I think you could have gone in a different route with this, is basically what I'm saying, and think a little bit more holistically about what voice actually matches what this piece is. And William just does way too many horror movies, way too many action movies, and this was neither of those. So it wasn't quite in his sweet spot. He tried to make it, almost made the film more intense than it actually was, but because he kind of brings that along, and he's been on some films that I haven't liked, but his narration has made it better, because he sounds great on a really bad horror film. He can actually make a bad horror film slightly better because there's something inherently dark in his voice and raspy. So that was helping Summer of Sam, except sometimes he's doing that and what he's describing is not remotely scary. So it's just like he's in a film where his voice is just not needed. So yeah, I'm sure he enjoyed the paycheck, and it's weird because it's like a 1999 film, so obviously we did this later. I don't think William Michael Redmond recorded this in 1999. That'd be amazing, but I just don't think that happened. So, let's, yeah, take better approaches to things. Anyway, I'm gonna give Summer of Sam a B. I'm gonna get out of this review. 25th anniversary. Celebrate it, don't celebrate it. It is a, historical film. It's a Spike Lee joint for people who are trying to complete, prolific directors. If you want to watch the entire filmography of somebody who has made an impact in cinema, that would be Spike Lee. But again, he's kind of like Steven Spielberg, where you can go through his resume and you can find the films. You can find like one or two films where you're like, nah, nope. But most of them are good, if not great. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.